Hey, what's up and good morning, everybody. David Pendleton here, and I'm going to play some Golf Impact Master Tour. I figured, you know what, I'm already playing the game anyways, trying to grind away, earn as much gold as I can, and get those trade-in club cards. So I figured, you know what, I'll just go ahead and just play it and screen record my game and throw it on YouTube and see if this helps anybody. All right, so this whole par four, if you're new to the Master Tour or you don't get, quite understand how each hole is laid out, this one right here gets a lot of people in trouble on the drive. Because the best way you want to try to go if you have tailwind is to the right of this sand trap here. Right where our opponent is lying. However, I would not take this shot in tailwind because there's a good chance they're going to end up in the sand or they're going to end up in the rough. And if they do, we're going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to tell you how in just a second. But I'm also going to show you when it's my turn what to avoid on the left-hand side of the sand trap. You're going to play the left-hand side of the sand trap to be safe more times than not. But if you want to almost guarantee yourself to win this game in regulation without going to the tiebreaker shootout, if you go to the right-hand side here like our opponent is, it puts you in great shape. Now, the bad part is they use too much side spin or too much curl, and they got themselves in the rough. Now, our opponent is 222 yards away from the pin, which means from the rough, they will not be able to get to the green. Okay, so we're going to take advantage of that. What do I mean by that? That means we're going to go with a safe shot here to the left-hand side of the sand trap. Okay, again, we have tailwind, which means the wind is blowing at the tee box and it's blowing to the left-hand side. So the safe way is to go right here. Now, what you have to be careful of is the sand trap on the right-hand side. There's a huge hill here, and your ball will start to roll down to the right-hand side and sometimes into the sand trap. So you have got to use spin to get yourself away from that, okay? But you'll see here we hit a dead center perfect ball. We're keeping our ball guideline right up here on the far left-hand side of the fairway. We're going to completely keep ourselves away from the right-hand side of the fairway where that ball starts to roll downhill. Now you're going to notice, like I said, our opponent here, they don't have any shot to get to the green in two. They can't even get to the second part of the fairway up here. Anytime your opponent makes a mistake on their drive, it is vital that you hit your ball on the fairway, because when you do that, you put yourself in a position like we are right now to win the game without going to a shootout. I believe that in this game, the higher the tour, such as Tour 10, Tour 11, Master Tour, games are going to be won off the tee box or on the putting green. It is common for a lot of people, including myself, to miss putts in this game. So if you can hit perfect drives and you can hit your putts, you're going to avoid a lot of shootouts. Now, here, if we can land our ball on the green, we're probably going to end up winning this game. I'm going to use the shot guide since this is a tougher shot. You can see here that on the shot guide, I got my ball guideline placed nicely in the center of the rough. We're going to use a little bit of curl and no overpower, okay? Now, on this hole, when you talk about the green, there's two things to avoid. One is you don't want to go too short because the ball will start to roll backwards on you. Two, you don't want to go too long. Take a look at the screen here, and you can see that I went too long. I don't know if I used a little bit of overpower or if I just got unlucky, but I did go too long, and you rolled down past the green. All right, so this is a tricky green. If you've not played the Master Tour, or again, if you're not familiar with all the little nuances, those are the two things to avoid. The front of the green slopes downhill. The back of the green slopes downhill as well. And the left-hand side of the green also slopes to the left. So you really need to land your ball on the right-hand side of the pin, but you got to keep it parallel with the pin as well. It's a little tricky to get down. I don't make a mistake like that too often, but I guess it's a good thing that I did make a mistake because that typically helps people out to see the pitfalls to avoid. There's a good chance here from this far away, 75 yards away, with almost 10-mile-per-hour wind, that our opponent won't make this shot. So it still leaves us the opportunity for us to make it. Okay, so they missed. They're right next to the pin, so we know they're definitely going to make their putt. So now it's my turn. If I can make this little chip-in shot, we will win this game in regulation and not have to go to a tiebreaker. I do pull my rings here, and if you don't know how to do that, check out my other videos. I have a full wind ring tutorial. I do hit a dead center perfect ball, and we're going to get this thing right into the center of the cup for the win. So like I said, we're going to avoid a shootout and win this game in regulation, really based off because we executed our drive early in the match. You can see here we're picking up 105 million gold coins and 2 option tuning tickets, which is really the reason we're playing Master Tour, so we can tune out our clubs and become almost unbeatable, which is awesome. All right, we'll just load up the next game and keep this bad boy rolling. Okay, now, if we have tailwind here, which we do, you're going to want to use your ball that's going to give you probably the strongest wind possible, which is typically like a volleyball or the Paris ball, I believe. So you can see here our opponent is doing exactly what I'm saying. You want a lot of wind on this hole, and I'm going to show you why when it's my turn. I'm also going to use the shot guide to show you how you want to line this thing up, okay? Sorry, you'll hear some typing and stuff in the background. I'm doing some other things while I play. Okay, did not see where our opponent landed, but they landed in the rough. This also means they have no way to get to the green in 2 shots. Now, again, I want you to use a ball that has very little wind resistance here because we want this tailwind to carry our ball. Now, I'm going to use the shot guide so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So you can see here the shot guide has me going off the first fairway and rolling into the sand trap. From here, you just want to apply as much topspin as possible. You want your first bounce to be on the fairway, second bounce to be before the sand trap, third bounce over the sand trap and rolling onto the fairway. And now you have to hit a dead center perfect drive to pull this off. Okay, we hit that one exactly dead center. You're going to see here 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3 bounce. This is literally exactly how we lined it up. And again, because our opponent put the ball in the rough on their first shot, they're not going to win this hole. We're going to win this hole in regulation because we will be right next to the pin on our second shot, and our opponent has no chance to get to the pin on shot number 2. The only way our opponent has a chance here is if they hit a long shot to drop their birdie. But again, they're probably not going to be able to hit it just because of how hard shot number 3 is going to be for them, especially with the wind. So you see here they have to lay up. And I can't stress enough that one of the biggest strategies in this game is when your opponent goes first, if they mess up their drive, don't do anything stupid. Just take advantage of their mistake and drive the fairway. Okay, now you can see here that I am caught in between clubs, which means if I do this shot with my Phoenix and I pull my rings, it won't be accurate because I'll end up switching to my Hellfire. So what we're going to do here is use a lot of side spin. We're going to back our club way up and use a little bit of top spin, just like this. Now, when we flip the camera around to pull our rings, we'll be able to pull accurately. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to find my wind video, and I will put that link in the description below so you can just click it and see what I'm talking about. Another dead center perfect shot. Get in the hole. Oh, so close. But like I said, you know, I knew that I'd be right next to the pin on shot number 2 just because I know how this green rolls and I know how to stay from being caught in between clubs. You're almost always going to be caught in between clubs on shot number 2 whenever you pull off the drive like I did. So always keep that in mind and be prepared for that. Again, if you don't know how to pull your rings properly, I will put a video link in the description to this video below so that you can check out that and hopefully learn from it. It is a longer video, but if you really pay attention to it and you play this game a lot, you will be a lot better at the game. So like I said here, our opponent, they didn't make it. We kind of thought that would be the case. And now we move on to our very easy putt, and we're going to end up winning this game as well. So we'll be 2 for 2 on this little gameplay here. Now I'll take a quick detour here, and if you're wondering why Master Tour is so important, if you hit your golf bag here and you go to the fitting room, you can max out your clubs, and they start at level 1 and they go all the way up to level 10. Okay, so you'll see here that this one is only on level 5, and it's only the rare variety. That's not good. Okay, it goes common, rare, epic, and then legendary. Legendary is what you're shooting for, and the way that you can change these is to do the option assignment. And every Master Tour game that you win, you get 2 option tuning tickets. You can see right now that I have 28. You're guaranteed a legendary card for every 200 tickets that you spend. So you can see here, I'm going to spend 1 right now and see what happens. Okay. So it's rare, but it's increased wind resistance of the ball. I'm already maxed out on wind resistance. So I'm going to keep hitting this button, and then hopefully we get something green, or not green, sorry, epic, which is purple, or legendary. I don't care for the reduced weather penalty. I'd rather have more prize money after every game, okay? Equip wind resistance of the ball. We're already maxed out on the wind resistance, so that's not going to do me any good. So I'm looking for a purple or a legendary. Okay, and there's another purple one, increase the wind resistance, but that's not going to help us. We just keep tapping through here. I've only got 8 left. It's just a lottery system, all right? I didn't get anything better than what I currently have. You can see here that this one I'm going to try to increase the parts, which means I'm going to try to take it from a level 8 to a level 9. So here's what that will do. You can see that right now a level 8 epic increased prize money is adding 6.3% prize money every time that I win. If I go to a level 9, it's going to go from 6.3 to 7.4, so we add 1.1%. From a level 9 to a level 10, it doubles. You go from 7% all the way up to 14%, and we try to increase that. Again, a lottery system. Going from level 8 to level 9 has a 20% success rate. If it doesn't work on your first try, then they give you a little bonus. So right now I'm at a 26% success rate. So let's see what happens. All right, we did not get it. So it added 3% more bonus, which means now instead of a 26% chance, we have a 29% chance. We hit it again, and we still didn't get it. So you can see here, it's going to cost a lot of gold. All right, now we finally got it. So now we're at a level 9. We'll spend 108 million and see if we get lucky. Only a 5% chance to unlock it. All right, we didn't get it. So now instead of a 5% chance, we have a 7% chance. And it's costing 108 million gold coins every single time that we try to go from a level 9 to a level 10. So this is very difficult to get. It takes a lot of grinding and it takes a lot of gold. I'm unfortunately not getting it here. Oh, and we did get it. So now we've got that one maxed out. The only thing that we can do better now is to spend our tuning tickets and try to get that epic turned into a legendary. But again, it's all lottery system. It's all luck of the draw. So I think that's kind of cool. And now we hop back into the gameplay. All right, this par 5, you'll see opponents struggle with it, and I'll kind of show you what to do and what not to do. Now, this time we're going first. That kind of stinks for us because we've been in the luxury to where we can watch our opponents go. You want, again, a decent ball here, but you don't have to spend one of your really good ones, especially in Tailwind. Tailwind makes this hole a lot easier. And what you don't want to do here is you don't want to over curl this one. About 4 arrows of right curl is typically good, and you can see I'm using about 1.5 arrows of overpower. All you're trying to do is get your ball just like this. The reason you don't want to use too much curl is because you don't want to go to that sand trap on the right. But this is literally a perfect drive. It would have been nice to get a little bit more distance, but that's okay. It's not going to matter because shot number 2, no matter if you land on the fairway, you cannot get across the water on shot number 2. You're going to have to lay up. I'm going to show you where to lay up at to give you a significant advantage here. You can see here our opponent is going with a similar shot. I'm sure they're probably going to use about 4 arrows of right curl as well. So they're using 3 arrows of right curl. They hit a perfect ball, so they should have a good drive here too. Yep, perfect. Okay. All right. Now, here's what you're going to see. That tree's going to get in our way, so we're going to go over here between these 2 palm trees. And all you want to do is you want to land your ball as high up the rough as you can without going into the sand, okay? Even if you go into the sand, as long as you have a legendary club, you'll be okay. And you're really just trying to be within 120 yards away from the pin. We would have liked to got further up. We left that one a little short, but we're still at 115, which means we should be fine. And I'll show you what I mean here on my 3rd shot. Now we'll see if our opponent copies our shot. So what they're going to do is they're going to go onto the fairway here. Now, the reason that I don't like playing this shot is because you can get unlucky. If you hit a great ball, you could end up on the rough on the right-hand side, and then you have no chance to get to the green. There's a chance you could hit a bad shot and end up in the sand trap and, again, have no chance to get to the green. You really want to play this hole the exact way that I did. And I'll show you why my way is the best way to go here. I hope these little tips and tricks are going to help you out. If they do, let me know by leaving a comment. And if you play against me, just go ahead and forfeit right off the bat and give me the win. All right, so our opponent did end up in the rough, which means on their next shot, they have no chance to get to the green, which means we're going to win this hole, okay? We'll just line our shot up here. Again, I'm not looking to make this shot. If I do, that's great. I just want to make sure that we land on the green, giving ourselves an easy putt. Oh, what did I just do there? To win this hole in regulation. What in the world? See that skip around on me like that? Okay. 8 miles an hour is 4 rings. That right there is exactly 4-ring pool. Perfect ball should be good. Man, we put this thing right next to the pin. Okay, so you can see here, that is done. It's our opponent's turn, and there's really nothing they can do now at this point. That's why you need to go the path that I did, because we're guaranteed to get onto the green. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't normally have this many opponents making mistakes on the Master Tour, so it's good for me because I'm winning every game. And for the video purposes, it's actually pretty good because you're learning a lot of pitfalls that people can run into on this tour. Perfect. All right, 3 games in, 3 wins. We pick up another 105 million gold coins, which you saw the importance of. And we pick up 2 more of those option tuning tickets. We have won 7 games in a row. Not bad. Okay, this is a par 3. Now, there's a good chance that if you follow my strategy on the par 3s here, you're going to win the vast majority of them, probably 80% of the time to be safe, I would say. For me, it's more like 95% of the time that I'm going to win a par 3 on the Master Tour. You see here that our opponent is doing a difficult shot. They're trying to go from one fairway, hop another fairway, hop the sand, and land on the green somehow. That is not the easiest shot to pull off. It can be pulled off as long as you know how to pull your rings 100% accurately. All right, now again, our opponent made a mistake. They're in the bunker. So our plan here is to not do anything crazy. Just make sure that we land on the green. Very easy to do. You don't even have to spend a great ball to do it. This green towards the hole slopes to the right-hand side. You do not, again, you do not want to fall on the right-hand side of the hole because that putt sucks really bad. We hit ourselves a dead center perfect ball, and we come in. You saw there that I use a little bit of left side spin, and we just creep right up the hill towards the pin. This is why I say, for me, I know the strategy on this hole. I know not to land on the right-hand side. Does it happen at times? Absolutely, especially if you hit a perfect ball to the right. You're going to land on the right-hand side. It's a difficult putt. But again, I know the strategy on this hole. I've played it so many times. I've kind of got it down pat, which is why I say that I didn't say 100% of the time, but 95% of the time on this particular hole, I'm going to win it without going to a tiebreaker. You can see here our opponent had a very difficult shot out of the sand. They do land close to the hole, but obviously not good enough. And we're in for the birdie, but most importantly, we're in for the win without going to a shootout yet. So you can see here, we've played 4 games. We've won all 4, not even having to go to a tiebreaker just because we're using sound strategy and taking advantage of opponents' mistakes. Now, you're not going to always have opponents make mistakes like this. You're going to get in these cases where you're making mistakes, or maybe you're not even making mistakes, but your opponents are just shooting lights out. And I get that from time to time too, trust me. Okay, this one here is a very challenging par 5 from multiple perspectives. One, it's like 9,000 yards long, okay? 2, you have a very small amount of fairway to work with here. You've got a lot of rough on the right-hand side. You got a big old sand trap. I'm sorry, you got a lot of rough on the left-hand side. You got a huge sand trap on the right-hand side here. The one good thing that we have about this particular hole on this game is we have tailwind, which means the wind is blowing north. It makes the shot easier, but it's still not easy. You can see here that our opponent hits a perfect drive, and they still end up in the rough. The good news for us is that takes the pressure off of us, right? If we hit the rough or the sand, we're still okay. This is probably my first area of opportunity since I've been doing this recorded session here to mess up. We have tailwind, so we're going to use our least wind resistance ball, which is going to be the volleyball. And we're going to see if we can just get this thing to land onto the fairway. Great ball to the right. You know, you never want to hit a great ball to the right, but I might get away with it here. Okay, we do. Now, we do land on the fairway, and that's good. But that does not mean, again, that does not mean that we're going to win this hole in regulation. If you're our opponent and you mess up your drive, let me tell you exactly where you want to land. You want to land up here. You want to land on the fairway as close to the rough as possible, but don't do something stupid and get aggressive and put it in the rough. You have to land on that part of the fairway if you're our opponent, or if you're somebody who messed up your drive like our opponent. Okay? You can see they tried to, but they just did not have the distance to get there. Now, if you're in a good position like me and you landed your ball on the fairway, there's a couple things you can do. One, we don't love the rain here. All right, a lot of opponents will try to go way up here. Don't do that. There's a chance you get stuck behind the statue or the trees and you're screwed. Instead, land right here on this little part of the fairway. Again, I'm hoping these little tips and tricks are helping you here. So you can see here, we're going to land right there on that part of the fairway. This is perfect. Now there is a chance that we can stick our ball on the green on the next shot. I don't think our opponent can at all. They cannot. They're 300 yards away. There's no way. Okay, so you can see now on their third shot, they're going to have to land exactly where I'm at. Or they're going to try to go above where I'm at. Either way, it's the same. They're just not going to be able to compete on this hole now, probably. As long as I do good on my next shot, we're going to win again. Okay. All right, now here's the dangers of this hole. There's a significant slope. Look how bad this hole slopes all the way down to the left-hand side. It's super important here that whenever you attack this hole, you don't hit a perfect ball to the left or a great ball to the left, because if you do, you're going to go right on down that hill. I'm even leaving my ball guideline a little bit short of the hole. We did hit a dead center perfect ball. You can see here, this ball does kick to the left-hand side as well, but we did pull off our shot. That should be, 5 yards away. That should be an easy putt. There's no way our opponent's going to make this shot from this far away. If they do, obviously it's very lucky, but you know, I don't foresee that happening. But again, we're going to be in a position now where we're going to putt in to probably win this hole in regulation. All right, our opponent's on the green, so as long as we don't screw up our putt here, which I'm known to do, we will win this hole. Perfect putt, and now we're 5 for 5. Picking up 100+ million gold coins and 2 more option tuning tickets. As you can see here, this is pretty much just rinse and repeat. Just Win play, win play. Okay, great. This is another different hole that we haven't played yet. So again, there's a couple different ways to approach this hole. All right, our opponent's going first, so let's see how they go. What you want to do is you want to go to the right-hand side here, and you want to hop, exactly, okay. You want to hop over the sand trap and land on the fairway. The only time that you probably won't be able to take this type of shot is if you have headwind. Top spin and right side spin is what you want to use on this hole. Okay, so our opponent landed in the sand. That is not good for them, and that's something you have to avoid on this hole. Okay, now if you have tailwind, you're going to want to just land on the fairway here, and then your shot number 2, you're going to want to land as high up on this fairway as possible. But what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to land our ball on the fairway here. Again, top spin, right side spin. Looks like even if I go with max overpower, I'm not going to go into the sand trap. Now, that's something you have to be careful of. Depending on the ball that you use and your wind conditions, you want to make sure that you don't put your ball into the sand by using max overpower. You want to make sure that you push your ball as high up as possible to test for that like I did, okay? And if it does go into the sand when you're pushing up to max, just make sure you don't use max overpower. I know that sounds elementary, but that's what you have to avoid doing. You can see here that because our opponent is in the sand on their second shot, there's nothing that they can do. They have to basically lay up where we're at already on our drive. So again, we're in a huge advantage. Now, even though we landed on the fairway, it's not possible to get to the green on our second shot at all. The best you can do is just land your ball typically in the rough, or if you have higher wind, sometimes you'll roll out of the rough onto the fairway. Now, it's perfectly fine to just go with a maximum overpower shot here, like this, and just lay up. Because again, like I said, there's no way you can get to the green on your second shot. You just want to make sure that you don't land in the heavy rough. Okay, we're in the light rough, which is fine. If you know you can't make it out of the heavy rough, then land your ball on the right-hand fairway over here. Okay? You want to land right there if you have to. Okay, so our opponent's taking their third shot. They're still 64 yards away from pin. So theoretically, they're going to have to make their next shot in order to send this to a tiebreaker. But there's a good chance here that we make this shot and just win the game. Or if we don't make it, we're going to be right next to the hole for an easy putt, right? All right, so like I said, right next to the hole, very easy putt, no big deal. Now our opponent has to make their next shot in order to have a chance. I just don't think they're going to be able to make that. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Get in the hole. Look at that. Making me eat my words. That's a very nice shot. All right. Well, finally, on our 6th game, we're heading to a tiebreaker. That was a really solid shot by our opponent. I almost feel like they deserve to win this one. I don't want them to. I hate this shootout. Shootout is very long, everybody, especially when you have headwind like this. So, oh, we're playing a great opponent. 78 win percentage is awesome. Yeah, they're good. They know what they're doing. Oh, man, that is going to be such a difficult shot to beat. Listen, 220 yards away, when your opponent sticks it 1 yard away from the pin, there's not a whole lot you can do. I mean, you know, you just have to hats off to the opponent for making an incredible shootout shot. This is going to be tough, everybody. Oh, and a great ball at that. Terrible, David. Well, you can't win them all, right? So we won 5 out of 6 so far, which is 83%, which is ironically exactly what my winning percentage is overall. Great job for them, though, for making that shot to force the shootout. And then they sealed the deal and they won the shootout, which is even more impressive. So 1 yard away, which is just freaking awesome. Good for them. Okay. We'll play another one. All right, this is also a hole in which we haven't played yet. What you want to do here on this one is just drive this ball really as far as possible. There's nothing too crazy about this hole here. Perfect shot, which is nice. Try to get your ball into the shadows, which we did very easily. Middle of the fairway too, which is nice. Those trees on the left-hand side won't get in the way. And then I'll show you what shot number 2 looks like by using the shot guide. And I'll kind of show you where you want to aim. A great drive by our opponent as well. All right, use the shot guide here and show you where you can aim here. You can aim between these 2 sand traps if you have the ability to, but we're caught in between clubs, so we won't be able to. That's a good thing to show for the video. So what we'll do is we're going to aim over, just like this. Let's see if we can get a path to the pin here. Maybe we'll try to go just a little something like that. Dead center perfect ball, which is good. You can see here our ball hops nicely over the sand traps and it's going to roll right down towards the pin. All right, we'll see where our opponent goes. All right, so our opponent went pretty long into the rough. Still definitely a makeable shot. They're only 16 yards away. But obviously we have a very short putt in here for the birdie. And there's a chance. There's a good chance we get back to winning. So our opponent has basically perfect headwind, which is second base scenario. When you're going for shots like this, you want perfect tailwind or perfect headwind to make the shot the easiest as possible. Unfortunately for them, though, they hit a perfect ball to the left. All right, so yes, in this game, you do need to hit perfect center shots. Perfect left, perfect right will throw off your shot, unfortunately. All right, so now we're back to winning. We've won 6 out of 7 games. We'll take that all day. And we'll hop in another one here. All right, this is another par 3, and this one, again, is a hole that I win a lot of times in regulation. I would not say not as high of a percentage as the other one, but, you know, there's probably a 70% chance that we're going to win this hole without even having to go to a shootout. So you'll see here that our opponent is going for the more difficult shot. They're trying to do a rough bump over the sand with full overpower and a lot of curl. They do hit a dead center perfect shot, though, so we'll see where this one lands. But this is not easy to pull off at all. And what you have to watch out for this hole here is a severe downhill slope, which is where our opponent is being caught up at right now. What you really want to try to do 100% of the time is approach this hole from the left-hand side. And again, I'm going to use the shot guide just to show you what I mean here. Okay. Now, if you're pulling your rings, you typically want to go with max right, max backspin. And you want your ball guideline to look something like this, okay? And then you would adjust your rings accordingly, which the shot guide will just do for you. So I'm going to have my shot guide looking just like this. You can see here the ball is going to the left-hand side of the hole significantly. And it's okay to use about 4 to 5 arrows of right curl. I hit a perfect left, but I should still be okay. We bounce up, we roll towards the pin, and we go just a little bit long, so that stinks. So now I'll have to chip this one in for the win. But more times than not, you know, the ball will die on the green there, and you'll be left with a short putt for the win. All right, our opponent did not make it. Which means we have a chance to make this shot here. I'm a backspin player. I like to put backspin on the ball, leave the ball going just through the hole, back of the pin like that. And then we pull our rings accordingly. 6.6 miles per hour. It's going to be right there. I hit a perfect ball to the left, though, but hopefully I get away with it because it's so short of a shot, and I did. Woo! All right, so ball in the hole. We pick up another win. That is 7 out of 8 games. We're pumped about that. And we move on to the next one, everybody. In fact, the only game that we've lost is the one that went to the shootout. Go figure. The tiebreaker got us down. Okay, perfect. This is another par 3 that we're going to have tailwind on. I'll kind of show you how you want to approach this hole too. Let's go with maybe this ball here. Okay. You kind of want to just get your ball guideline rolling towards the pin with using backspin because this hole has significant slopes. So just a little something like that, okay? You can use your shot guide here too to kind of see exactly where to aim. I'm running out of time. Through the rough. We might have too much speed here. Stop. Now we're going to roll into the sand. Okay. So that stinks. You know, I was running out of time trying to show you where to set up your shot if you pull your rings. And then for other players, for a different visual, I try to switch to the shot guide to show you exactly what it looks like if you make a correct ring pull. What I really needed to do there was I needed to make sure that I had max backspin on. And there's a certain part of the green you want to aim for that can help slow the ball down from hitting that slope. Obviously, you know, I didn't get to that part, so I was just running out of time, which is unfortunate. Perfect ball to the left from our opponent here. And they're going to go into the sand as well. So no big deal. If one of us makes our shot here, then one of us is going to win without going to a tiebreaker. There's a good chance that neither of us make our shot, and we do have to go to a tiebreaker. All right, so, you know, we have almost perfect headwind here, which I was saying is an ideal situation to make these type of shots. A little bit of backspin with the ball guideline going through the back of the hole there. This is basically 10 miles an hour, which means we're going to pull 5 rings. 5 rings is the very edge of the white target there. Pull all the way up to the dot. Dead center perfect ball. And look at that, like magic, baby. We get the ball into the hole for the birdie. Of course, our opponent has to make this in order to force a tiebreaker. And they did not. All right. That is that 9 games, I believe? We won 8 out of 9, which is 88%. We'll play one more. I think this is going to be game number 10. Hopefully we can win one more and call it a day. Again, I hope this video helped. I would love for you to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, share it with people that you know that play the game, and leave me a comment. That all means a lot. All right, so we are going first here. All right, we're going to gamble. I said earlier that if you want to try to win this hole in regulation without going to a shootout, you want to try to go this way. I just hope I don't screw this drive up and cost myself a chance to win. But for video purposes, I'm going to show you, if you execute the drive, what type of advantage that gives you on this hole. Oh, that's a perfect ball to the right, but hopefully it's okay. Nope. I didn't use enough overpower, so I'm screwed. I am screwed, and our opponent knows it. They're smiling at us. If our opponent goes to the left-hand side here and they land on the fairway, we're going to lose the game unless they mess up their second shot. Now, again, when you go this way, you have to be careful how much right curl you use and how much right spin, because you don't want to put your ball into the sand, because this fairway does slope significantly to the right-hand side. But our opponent blasted their ball up the fairway. They're in a good spot here to win this game. Now, their second shot is not easy, okay? There's a good chance that they don't land on the green. And if they don't, that's obviously very beneficial for us. We're just going to land over here on the right-hand side. Again, there's no reason to do nothing stupid here. You know, just land on the fairway and take our chances. All right, so our opponent is going... Are they going for the rough bump here? I didn't see where they landed at. Yeah, they're going for the rough bump over the sand. Interesting approach. Not one that I ever try, but maybe I'll learn something here. I always go to the right-hand side of the sand trap, but I do kind of like their setup. Not a way that I've ever gone. A little bit of overpower, maybe because of a slight tailwind here. Well, they hit a great ball, though. Okay, well, so far we've been bailed out. Now they have to make their shot, but I still have to get onto the green, so. Again, remember, this hole slopes downhill and to the left on the back of the green, and the front of the green also slopes downhill too, so be very careful when it comes to that. Man, this is a tougher shot here. All right, we're going to go right there. All right, we hit a dead center perfect ball. We just want to stick it close. That's really close. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go and hope that our opponent doesn't make this shot. If they don't make this shot, we're going to go to a tiebreaker. Well, our opponent hit a good ball out of the sand. You don't see that too often. All right, but they're next to the hole. We're next to the hole. We're definitely going to a tiebreaker on our 10th game. All right, here we go, everybody. Last game I'm playing. We're heading to a tiebreaker. This is probably my least favorite tiebreaker hole. There's a good chance I just totally screw this one up. I would like to go with the rough bump, which I can't do because of being caught in between clubs. I have no confidence in this shot here, so this is going to be horrendous. There's a good chance I just totally choke on this one here. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, we're going to go to the right-hand side. No, we need to catch that green. Not enough curl to the left. But honestly, that's not terrible. In most situations, you don't want to be 8 yards away from the pin. You're going to lose almost every game if you're that far away. But on this particular hole, that's not the worst shot. Our opponent is going for that same shot they tried over the sand, and it didn't work out well for them last time. There's a really good chance their shot is completely thrown off because they started with their Phoenix club, which is where they set their shot up at. But then they switched to their wood club. Wow, they're going to catch it. Not bad. Wow, okay, we won. So like I said, my shot wasn't terrible. All right, everybody. That is it for me. I played 10 games. I won 9 out of 10, which we're going to take all day, especially in the Master Tour. I hope the video was valuable with little informational nuggets. Please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up, and I will see you next time.